Why her? Like, I'm so lost. Like, I really don't understand why her.
Tatania Cody is still trying to piece together what happened to her friend Quintia Miller Monday morning. Authorities say this man, 78-year-old Harold Reed Jr., came to the Rowan Point Apartments in Mocksville and shot 26-year-old Miller, killing her.
That bullet never had a name for, her name on it.
It's not fair to keep being silent. Silence kills. And he's proven that today. Silence has taken her life, and we can't never get her back.
26-year-old Quintia Miller was a sweet and peaceful young woman with a beautiful smile who often kept to herself, never bothering anyone. She always remained true to who she was, no matter what. Her normal routine consisted of making sure that her son got on the school bus, going to work, and coming home. Around 7:30 a.m. on October 3rd, the Davie County Sheriff's Police responded to the Rowan Point Apartments on Willhaven Drive in Mocksville, North Carolina, a city roughly 60 miles northeast of Charlotte. Upon arrival, they would find a woman suffering from gunshot wounds.
Neighbors here are still trying to wrap their minds around what exactly happened.
Seeing, her last moments, that's what's flashing back in my head. It's her last moments, her face expression and everything. She was scared, she was confused.
The kindest heart, she's the kindest person that, like, don't nobody understand. She didn't do nothing to nobody. She mind her business, work, do her baby, and go home. She didn't bother nobody.
I see him running across towards her. That's when he pulled out the gun and he shot. She's screaming, she, running, away from him.
The victim was identified as 26-year-old Quintia Miller, who was sadly pronounced dead at the scene. A suspect identified as 78-year-old Harold Reed Jr. was immediately taken into custody. Officers with the United States Marshals Carolina's Regional Fugitive Task Force and Davie County Sheriff's Office were at the apartment complex around 7:30 a.m. Monday morning, looking for a wanted person in an unrelated case when they heard gunshots. When law enforcement responded to the scene, deputies say an officer with the U.S. Marshals fired his weapon at the suspect. The suspect was not injured. An investigation into the case determined that Reed was due in court the day of the shooting to be tried for first-degree sexual offense and indecent liberties with a child. It is believed that he went to the apartment complex looking for a person involved in the case against him to stop them from testifying. He apparently mistook Quintia for the person he was looking for and confronted her before shooting her. Fox 8 Crews also spoke with the woman who believes she was Reed's intended target. Siobhan Barnes was involved in the sexual assault case against Reed. Barnes said she knew he was dangerous, but could have never expected he would take an innocent person's life.
She says if Reed wasn't released from police custody 8 months ago after just spending 2 days in jail, none of this wouldn't have happened. Now, she said to me with tears in her eyes, she knew Reed was a dangerous man. Her mother would tell her to watch her back, but she just never thought that he was outside of her complex and would do something like this. And it's troubling to know that an innocent mother lost their life.
Anyone that knew him, I always told my story because I figured it would save lives.
Instead, an innocent life was taken, and 78-year-old Harold Reed Jr. is accused of murder. Siobhan Barnes is still shaken by the traumatic events that happened outside her Rowan Point apartment complex Monday morning. Davie County Sheriff deputies and the U.S. Marshal Task Force lined Willhaven Drive. The marshals happened to be there on another call when they heard Reed allegedly shot and killed 26-year-old Quintia Miller.
Running, he's chasing her, and I hear pop, pop. He shot twice.
Saw Quintia laying face down, and my mother's boyfriend, Harold Reed Jr., laying on top of her. And I said, yeah, that's him, that's his car. He's not supposed to be here.
Officers tell Fox 8 they believe Reed came to these apartments looking for Barnes, who was involved in a first-degree sexual offense and indecent liberties to a child case against him.
Around 10 to 12 years old, Harold Reed was sexually molesting me as a child.
Reed was wanted and scheduled to appear in court Monday morning, and Barnes was supposed to testify against him. She wanted to tell her story to help prevent him from doing it to anyone else. It would have been a small victory for her, especially after he was released nearly a year ago on the same charge.
I knew at the point of his release from that day that my life was in jeopardy and that his goal would be to kill me. That would be his motive, and he made that very clear. I also watched him lay on the ground after he was shot down, and his words to me was that he was coming. He said, "Siobhan, I was coming for you." Because not only did he violate me, now he's taking an innocent life because he's a coward.
Now, a memorial sits in the same place Miller lost her life.
It's not fair to keep being silent. Silence kills. And he's proven that today. Silence has taken her life, and we can't never get her back.
On the evening of the day she was senselessly murdered, more than 30 friends, family, and community members gathered for a vigil to honor Quintia's life that was tragically cut so short. People cried, embraced, sang, and prayed.
Protect us, Father, and this world, Father, is crazy right now.
It started with a prayer.
Amen. Amen.
Followed by a gospel song. More than 30 people gathered near the spot where Quintia Miller was murdered less than 24 hours after it happened. Tea lights line the sidewalk where the memorial in her memory sits, surrounded by dozens of flower bouquets. Friends and family members held candles and one by one shared about the 26-year-old mother. One of those people, Miller's neighbor, Eugenia Iams. She helped organize the vigil.
With it being so close to home and with her having a child that was so small and with so many people in the neighborhood knowing her, we just felt that it was the right thing to do.
Her grandchildren often play around the complex with Miller's son.
Our kids feel free to just come outside and play because they feel safe. But after today, you just don't know how safe they are anymore.
The scariest part for Iams? It could have been anyone struck by those bullets.
This mother died today because he was looking for someone else, and it's senseless.
A GoFundMe was created to raise funds for the care of Quintia's 6-year-old son. Henry Reed Jr. will be charged with the murder of Quintia Miller. The investigation remains ongoing.